Okay, so let's get into this recap. So from the last episode, we know that Darcy and Jesse, they were fighting over who can cut the steak better for the kids. And at this point, Jesse's upset and he's just sitting out by the porch. And, the kids are there. The kids see everything. They notice it. And honestly, they were just acting so immature. And, one of Darcy's daughters, she was trying to still try to talk to Jesse, tell him to come inside. And, he comes inside, they're still arguing, and it's just back and forth bickering. And, the girls are just like, stop. Like, you guys are acting our age. It was honestly sad to see. So next we have Michael and Angela, and they're just still having the same conversation, and it's just the age difference. It's something that they can't run away from, and Angela's really insecure about it because she's definitely not believing that he would be around for her 20 years from now. And, she wants just reassurance from him, and he's telling her, I will be there, don't worry. But at the same time in that conversation, he says he wants kids. And she's just like, that's nearly impossible for me. And then, he's like, okay, because I love you, we don't have to worry about it right now. But it's clearly going to be an issue for him because, like he said, as a man, he wants some of his own children so that they can carry his name. But I honestly don't see things lasting between them. So next, let's talk about Hazel and Tyrek. Basically, Dean is in town, and they decide that, let's go meet up with him. Now, Hazel knows that Dean is not a fan of her, and I do fault Tyrek for that because he went back to her and told her everything, and so there's already tension amongst them too. So when they do meet, Dean is just like, he's basically just concerned because from what Tyrek told him, some of her possessions are still at her ex's house. They still contact each other, and it's definitely a red flag. But, I do feel like Dean is just overly involved in his brother's affairs. Like, I get your concern, but to be that aggressive, it's too much. So moving on, John and Rachel, they're sitting and they're talking, and, it's starting to basically hit Rachel. Like, she's just so confused. She doesn't know how this relationship is going to work because the fact of the matter is that John was in the past denied a visa to come to the United States due to his criminal records. And, she just doesn't see how it will be possible for them to, basically be together because she has another daughter and she has joint custody with her daughter's father, and there's no way that she can just get up and go. So next we have Ricky and Jimena. She finally is just, waking up with him, and they seem to still be in great spirits from them meeting each other the previous episode. They look very much so really into each other. And from what they said, they definitely got physical last night. And obviously they had a great time. But it was brought out that Ricky called her Melissa by accident, and Melissa is his previous love interest who lives in Colombia, and she was very caught off guard about it, but he tried to basically tell her, oh no, it's someone's name from production, which I thought oh my gosh, so you're becoming a liar, huh, Ricky? Not to mention he hasn't even told her that he originally came out there for that other woman and not for her. But yes, so he, sits down and talks with her and tells her, what, I really want to make sure also, are you wanting to, not just love me, but love my children and be in this relationship for the overall family that I have already. And she's like, you know what, because she is 27 years old. She's like, I never really thought about kids right now and being with someone who was married or anything like that, but I'm just open, and because I'm spending so much time with you, I want to do anything that it takes to be with you. And if that's being there and loving your children, I will do that too, because you mean that much to me. So next we have Paul and Karine, and Karine's laying in bed, and I was looking around the room. It was still very much so messy. And he's trying to talk to her and give her a hug and kiss her, and she's just not having it. She's just like very closed off and distant, and she's just like, no, not right now, stop. And she just doesn't want to be bothered, basically. So she tells him that she's not feeling well, but in actuality, she's just so confused with everything, because she's like, they're arguing so much, she doesn't even know like if this is the right decision or not. So moving forward, it's the wedding day, and Karine is just getting her hair and makeup done. Her mom's in the back with her, and her mom is just like, she's there, but she's just like so sad, because she can tell like her daughter isn't in the happiest of moods, especially right before this wedding. And we all know that everyone feels like she should wait, and she even initially wanted to postpone it, but she's deciding to push forward in hopes of Paul changing. So everyone's at the reception, and they're just waiting for her to come out, and literally 30 minutes pass by and she's just nowhere in sight. But eventually she gets herself together and she comes out, and she's just like, you know what, I'm going to marry him in hopes that he changes and that we can just start fresh. So next, let's discuss Angela and Michael. And basically, Angela's upset. She decided to go through his phone, and she found that he had this Instagram account where he was following over 1,000 women on Instagram. And these women are just like the total opposite of her. She's like, they're young, they're beautiful, they're curvy, they're, women who he shouldn't be even looking at, because in the past he had a Facebook account and where he was following a lot of different social media accounts of women who were celebrities or reality stars, and she had a problem with that then. And in order for them to move forward, she told him he needs to delete that account. So when she confronts him about this, he's just like very calm, and he's just like, I'm sorry, and okay, to make you happy, I'll make sure I delete the account. But it's just something about Michael too. Like, I think he knows also that it's just they're on different pages, and Angela's not going to be the woman for him. I think it's also for many of these relationships with these couples, they're looking for a way out, and it's more of an opportunity for them rather than real love. And I can definitely sense that with them. Michael's going to be in such a huge culture shock, and Angela, yeah, she's not going to come around to embracing his culture at all. Okay, so next let's talk about Darcy and Jesse. So once again, they get into another pointless argument, and I'm still trying to follow everything that happened. So basically, I guess they were in the bedroom, they were getting ready, and Darcy was near his white pair of sneakers. And, some people, when it comes to anything that's light colored, they don't want anyone to mess up their, possessions, whatever it is, like a white shirt, white sneakers, white shoes, whatever. So he had a pair of white sneakers, and apparently she stepped on it, and he had a huge meltdown, and he was just accusing her of purposely doing that. And she's just like, I'm not even thinking like that. It was honestly an accident. So they go back and forth. I don't know what happened along the lines, but she had a pair of red bottoms or Louis Vuitton or something of that matter. And so she's in the process arguing with him, and she takes her shoe and just throws it on the ground. And apparently where the shoe actually flew, according to him, it almost hit him in the head, and that she tried to assault him. So they're going back and forth, and he's like, I'm going to call the cops. I can't believe you did this. If you would do this to me, there's no telling what's next. Like, he honestly, in my opinion, he's a grown man. He was acting like a child. Like, are you serious? I mean, even in that argument, that said so much to me, how their relationship is just volatile and they should not be together. He was just overly dramatic. And of course, with her, she's also very dramatic too. So it was way too much. I mean, he was packing up his stuff. He's like, I'm going back to Amsterdam. I was just like, oh my God. So next scene, we have Ricky and Jimena, and Jimena's just like in a good mood. She's just like, let's go shopping. And so they go shopping. And of course, she's looking at the latest, and they went to like this nice boutique looking at like bathing suits and cover-ups. And Ricky, he was left to obviously pay the bill, but he started to also have concerns there because we find out that in the past, which is just like so shady to me, Ricky, you're not as sweet as I thought you were. This whole time, like, okay, if you were talking to Melissa and you were talking to Jimena, you were sending Melissa money. And apparently he was also sending Jimena money. Like, he sent her up to $1,500. And apparently, like, he said that Jimena, she has struggled with having money, and that's why he has helped her. And with the money he sent her, he found out that she had a nose job, and then here she is on this shopping spree, and he's paying, and he's just like, for someone who doesn't have much, like, she seems to have this, way of spending money. So she ends up looking appalled that this is even being spoken about, but she clarifies, like, she got her nose done due to medical purposes. Her insurance paid half, and the rest she had some money left over from college. But he's like, I believe you, and I'm sorry, but I just wanted to know, like, I want to make sure you don't really want to just be with me only for money. But it's clear and obvious, because he was just also asking her, like, so what did you do with the money? And she was just like, I went to travel, went to see my sister, and I went and bought my nephew stuff. And I'm just like, So next, let's talk about Tyrek and Hazel. They're basically, talking. And, I feel like they're such an odd pairing. Like, it's just so weird. They don't seem like they have anything in common aside from Hazel really just wanting to use him to get to the United States. It's clear and obvious. She has said over and over again that she just wants a better future, and she feels like Tyrek can give her that. And it doesn't seem like it's a genuine type of love that she has for him. So they decide to meet up with Dean again. And Dean, I don't know if he's acting for cameras, but I'm like, is he really like this in real life? But he is just like so intrusive. And he's just like asking her if she's going to be woman enough to basically satisfy Tyrek in the bedroom. And I'm just like, what? Like, how is this any of his business? And his brother's just so like, I don't know. He's just too involved and invested in his brother's like sexual affairs and relationship. I get he's cautious, but the questions he's asking and the way he's doing it is just all wrong. But Tyrek and Dean, they're both very odd to me. So we have Angela. She decides to call her daughter and just vent about her frustrations because she's learning a lot. It's different when you have a relationship with someone long distance, but when you're with them and you're really starting to see who they really are, it is alarming, especially if it's things that you're not used to. So of course her daughter, she was never on board about this anyway. She was just like, he's a con artist, and like, what do you expect? You really think he's going to only like be faithful to you? Like, he's definitely a scammer. And Angela's just like, you're making things worse. Like, I didn't call you for that. But it's obvious, like, Angela and her daughter, they have a lot to learn. So the next thing is John and Rachel. They actually get engaged. John proposed, and I thought the way he did it was beautiful, but they do have a lot to consider at this point. Lastly, I want to talk about Darcy and Jesse. They just realized they can't be together anymore, and I don't know, Jesse plays a lot of mind games to Darcy, and Darcy is very emotional, so it's for the best. We'll see what happens next episode. You guys tell me what you think.